Hey guys, welcome to Rise View. So anyone else paying attention to what's been going on here and what's kind of coming out in the news? So we're hearing about this new thing that they're talking about called V.A.I.D.S, and some of us are already aware of this and knew about it. But I guess you say the mainstream establishment is starting to admit it or talk about it. And basically, it's a vaccine acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, kind of like, AIDS. Except this is actually caused by a vaccine, which basically does the same thing as AIDS. It wipes out your immune system. So for those of you who took those medical procedures, and you keep getting sick and can't figure out why. Well, it's because your immune system is getting wiped out or has been wiped out. That's why you keep getting sick and having all these other medical and health issues. Just FYI, just gonna put that out there for you. But here we go. So they're saying now that this is a thing and it's happening and they're talking about it. But my question now becomes, is this like a new STD? Like, can you give this to your partner? Like, if one person was, you know, tested on and the other person wasn't tested on, can you give it to your partner? Is this something that you should be aware of now? Like, is it like AIDS used to be or is? Just curious, just a thought, just questions, just spitballing here. And the reason I'm curious about this and asking about this is because I've heard stories previously, a couple of them from different sources, stating that people who have passed away, the deceased, have had autopsies performed, and that these spike proteins have been found in people's gonads. So that's something that kind of makes me wonder, like, if your gonads are producing these spike proteins, that means your gonads think that this is, you, which means it makes me also wonder, have you been genetically altered so that you're now something other than human? Kind of curious because, I heard there was a high school science teacher who actually, did actually have his doctorates in science and biology. And he was saying that it would do just that. And now we're hearing people talk about that, although this gentleman was silenced and swept under the rug and hidden and ridiculed. So, but now we're seeing that maybe this guy was right and he was onto something. So I'm just kind of wondering now, like, is this something you have to worry about, like a normal STD? And have you been made into something other than human? Just something to think about. Just questions. Just questions. I'm not making any accusations or statements. Just asking questions. But did you hear what happened with I believe it was the FDA and NIH and CDC? One, these suckers supposedly knew about some of these effects that happened with these procedures because they had already tested them and they knew some of the negative side effects, but they didn't tell you. Now they're admitting, things like the heart issues. So kind of yeah. But also, the FDA has now stated and said that you or your doctor or medical personnel can now run experiments on you without informed consent, which I'm like, isn't that a violation of the Nuremberg Code? You can't experiment on people without them knowing they're being experimented on. You kind of got to tell them and let them know. I mean, that's literally what Dr. Mengele and the Nazis were doing, was experimenting on their captives and not telling them that they were being experimented on. Just kind of just something to think about, that you might want to be aware of that. So when you go in, your doctor can now give you an experimental drug or an experimental vaccine, and they don't have to tell you, oh, by the way, you're the guinea pig, which I actually made a video telling people that you are the guinea pig. And, YouTube banned it, blocked it, and censored it. And we're finding out now that, oh no, that was actually the case. So I guess you could say in this instance, Raya was right. Instead of Alex, now you've got Raya who was right too. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Something you guys should be aware of and be cautious of, that you can now become the guinea pig legally or lawfully, that is, not necessarily ethically. But they can do that to you now, make you the guinea pig, experiment on you, and they don't have to tell you. So there could be some negative side effect, and then, oh, maybe you take it and you die, or you grow a third limb, or all of a sudden you become sterilized or impotent. and you don't know why, because you never had that trouble before, and now you've got this problem. Yeah, because the doc was experimenting on you, and they didn't tell you that they were experimenting on you with some new drug or chemical or whatever it is. Yeah, kind of sad, kind of crazy. So be careful. My advice is don't trust your doctors now, because most of them are bought and paid for. They're so saddled up with student loans and debt. They'll pretty much do whatever they can to get out of it. Debt slaves. That's how they control people. Debt slaves. Debt slaves and blackmail. They either compromise you financially, or they catch you in a compromising position or situation with some photographic or video evidence. That's how they control people. So anyways, as always, thank you for watching. I'm Raya, and these are my views.